Good afternoon, parishioners. This is Doris Barrow. I am recording a video to share with you two events that will be happening this week. The first of which is our Wednesday prayer service. It was announced by Father John at all of the masses this past weekend, and it will be on Wednesday at 7 p.m. In the church sanctuary. And you may have already received an email notification in regards to the prayer service. But just to give you a brief overview of the reason for the prayer service and its importance. The first of which is, in light of recent events in St. Paul, Minnesota and Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and only a few short hours away from us in Houston, the incident in Dallas, Texas, some parishioners have expressed the need to gather for the purposes of praying for peace, praying for healing. And so this is an opportunity for us as a faith community to gather and do those things. Now, as faithful, we are called to be missionaries. We're called to be leaven for the earth. We're called to be disciples, and as disciples of Jesus Christ, this is one of the things that we are called to do. There was one question, kind of think about this in relation to scripture, that the apostles asked Jesus for. They didn't ask him to figure out ways to perform miracles as he did. They didn't ask him, how is it that you were able to feed the multitudes with only a few loaves of bread and fish? They asked him, Lord, teach us to pray. And so this is that opportunity to really gather in prayer because of its power, but also to listen. I think that that's an important element in relation to prayer as well. And to listen to the voice of God and see what God has to say to us. I would ask that you take an opportunity to look at the email that you received earlier today in regards to the invitation and extend it to your friends and family. The second thing that I also want to invite you to is that on Friday at 7 p.m. at St. Francis of Assisi Catholic Church, which is, by the way, one of the doors of mercy in the Archdiocese of Galveston, Houston, during this Jubilee Year of Mercy, there will be a concert, and it will be a concert that will showcase some of the most beautiful compositions and arrangements by composers of African descent, some of which is used in mass settings across the country. Some of the beautiful liturgical music is used in liturgy as well. We will have the privilege of Mr. M. Roger Holland, who is the composer of one of the few composers of a mass setting by a composer of African descent. If you've ever had an opportunity to look at the Lead Me, Guide Me hymnal that's in the pews on Sunday, it's the green hymnal. In there you will see a number of compositions and arrangements, some of which are used at Mass. And you will have an opportunity to hear the St. Francis of Assisi Choir actually perform those arrangements on Friday at 7 p.m. This week is an opportunity for us to really showcase our liturgy across all of the cultures that are represented within our local church. The National Pastoral Musicians Conference is taking place this week. And tethered to that conference is Unity Explosion, which some of you may be familiar with. And so some of the faithful who have been part of Unity for a number of years, some 25 plus years, will be present. But in addition to that, we'll also be participating in this wonderful free concert that's open to all on Friday at 7 p.m. at St. Francis of Assisi. And I invite all of you to come out on Friday to give praise and worship. So as a recap, Wednesday at 7 p.m. at St. Monica Parish in the church, we will have our prayer service. And on Friday at 7 p.m. at St. Francis of Assisi Catholic Church, we will have a concert led by Mr. M. Roger Holland and showcasing the beautiful compositions by composers of African descent. And finally, I ask that you do one thing. If you had an opportunity to listen to the homily this past weekend, that you will ponder the question that that the person asked the Lord, who is my neighbor? And I'll leave that question with you. Who is your neighbor? Thank you so much and have a blessed day.